Here are a few things that can change the supply curve. The list of factors is short and sweet. Here we go. Marginal cost means the different ingredients in a product. Any input prices, when they change, will have an effect on the supply to the market. If you want to lower costs for a computer, in the computer supply chain, if you can decrease the cost of motherboards and computer processors, then you can increase the supply to the market because the cost got cheaper. With respect to government regulation, anytime the government steps in and it adds additional regulations, the immediate effect is going to be a decrease in supply. If government regulations are lifted, then the company can afford to supply more to the market. The change in the number of sellers can also have an effect on supply. If a product seems profitable, it might attract new companies to join that market, so the supply would shift to the right and increase. Obviously, for natural disasters, that's a problem when you have a situation like a tornado that attacks your factory and destroys your production ability. So the supply of that particular product is going to decrease. When you look back at a supply and demand graph, it's important for you to be able to distinguish between an increase or a decrease in supply. If I decrease my input prices for computers, and I'm graphing computers, then I can increase the supply to the market. So the supply curve will shift to the right. When I label this, I want to label it S2. S2. So that's my new supply curve. And when this occurs, I can see right away that I have a new equilibrium point. Here's my old point. Label that E1 versus E2 here. We can quickly see the difference between the two. My quantity supplied to the market is going to increase to the right, whereas my price for the product decreases. So my final answer for my analysis, if I write down DSPQ in the upper right, demand did not change, so I put a 0. Supply increased, so I put a plus, and then I can see that price decreased and quantity increased. In this example, let's graph airplane flights. If government regulators increase government regulation, let's say new TSA requirements that will cost the airline more money, then they will have to decrease supply. That supply shift will move the supply curve to the left. And so as I indicate my new supply curve, S2, you can see the new equilibrium point crosses at a new spot along the curve. If I draw some dotted lines to give us some reference points and mark E1 versus E2, you now see that the price increases up to P2, whereas quantity decreases to Q2. So our final result sees that there was no change in demand, supply decreases, the price went up, and quantity went down, plus and minus. Okay, so